Hi, my name is Guy Fredrickson. Today is Thursday, December 29th, 2022. And this video is about this mount. So I have a 1961 283 flywheel forward motor for my 61 Chris Craft 17-foot ski boat. So I plan to rebuild that engine using the original generator, the 12-volt generator, which is water cooled, and then the Sherwood 2-impeller pump. But this is used when people want to convert that engine to an alternator, go from a generator to an alternator. So this takes place of the 12-volt water-cooled generator. So it gives you a means of mounting the water pump in about the same location on the engine. It's moved forward a little bit, maybe about 10 inches or so. So the Sherwood water pump would mount right here, and this would mount onto the face plate of that aluminum housing that's on the front of the boat, where the generator would normally mount to. And then these pulleys right here would engage with the flywheel like normal and run the water pump off the flywheel. And then the alternator is mounted higher on the engine, has another set of pulleys that somehow engages with the flywheel. I think on a system that's a little more forward than this to run the new alternator. Anyway, this is the transition, the mount for the water pump to the flywheel pulley. So I found this on eBay, of course, and I took it apart, and that was a little tricky. It was quite the puzzle to understand how to take this apart. And the main problem was that this shaft has this piece on the end of it that engages with the Sherwood water pump and is held on by a pin. This pin right here. So this housing only had one hole in it. I think this is the original hole. So looking carefully, I finally saw that pin, but there's no way to drive it through. So that confused me for a while, but then I decided that must be how you do it. So I had to drill a hole on the other side. I think this is the original hole. So I had to drill a hole on the other side so I could drive that pin through and get it out. So the way this was made, you'd assemble it and then you could put the pin in and for assembly, but gave you no means to disassemble it without that other hole. So that was the key to taking this apart. So this shaft has two bearings. I'm pretty sure the bearings are identical. So they go together, something like this. I won't force it together, you get the idea. So you have two bearings that keep the shaft in position, allow it to rotate. So once this came off, then this whole thing was removed through the front, both bearings. So in here, this forward bearing seats up in here, and the rear bearing seats in the back, and there's a lift that holds it into place. But to get that rear bearing in place, you first have to push it through this tight spot, and then it opens up, and then you have to seat it into the rear location, the tight spot for the bearing. Then of course this shoulder on the back keeps the bearing in place, and then this shoulder on the front keeps this bearing in place. And then there's a keyway here for the pulley. Oh, and then this bearing in the front is held into place with this expansion ring. Unfortunately, this pulley is cracked, so I have to try to find a new one of these. And again, I'm not planning on using this, but it gives me an option in the future if I ever want to convert over from the water-cooled generator to a modern alternator on this engine. We'll see. Oh, the number on this casting. Problem with 8s, when it's a poor casting, you can't tell if it's a 3, 8, 6. Anyway, I think it's 8484. And this is an aluminum casting. Okay, is there anything else I can think of? Nope. Oh, I'll get the part number off of these bearings and replace them, clean everything up, and reassemble it. Okay, that's it for now. Hey, thanks again for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.